Today, on this special edition of This Old House, we're talking about fashion trends. The styles that are all the rage this year, only to be scoffed at next season. I'm not talking about your clothing. I'm talking about your kitchen.
What happened to all this plumbing here?
I've never seen anything like this before. There's already rot going on in that trunk.
So what have you found up here?
Well, a bit of a surprise. It's really the classic plumber's lament.
Nice.
It's 5 bathrooms, it's a kitchen, it's a full new mechanical. It's going to be big.
Sounds like you guys have a plan.
I think we do.
Money's in the details.
That is beautiful. Just like a haute couture creator, for kitchen designers, it's all about color and material and literally sizzle. Kitchen design does not change at the speed of Paris skirt lengths, but every few years marks a sea change in popular kitchen features.
So it seems like the original space. What's in here?
If you went back to a new kitchen just a couple years ago, the colors you would see are white on white on white with some stainless steel. 2020 was a colorful year. For the first time in a decade, a pop of color defined a modern kitchen. Some designers opted for a two-tone look. Appliances, with their cold steel monotony, suddenly sparkled with color. How did we get here?
I went a little bold with the hood. We
love this hood.
Clad it in the same material as the countertop and the backsplash, the porcelain. And it's a very powerful hood to vent out for your...
This Old House tracked the evolution of kitchens for over 40 years.
It's a good-sized room. It does look like it hasn't been remodeled in maybe 50 or 100 years.
Untouched.
Yeah.
This was built in 1694. It's a classic salt box design with a lean-to right off the back. Interesting fact about the house, one of the early owners, Robert Payne, was a former juror on the Salem witch trials.
Really?
Yeah.
But the story of kitchen design starts way before Bob Vila.
So here we are, back in the lean-to, which is really specifically meant for more of a working area, keep it separate from the living area.
Right, the kitchen was generally in the back anyway.
Yep, exactly.
What's this over here?
Well, it looks like they uncovered what used to be the dairy milking area.
Early kitchens in America, if they were inside the house at all, amounted to a workroom with a large fireplace. In fact, early fireplaces were made out of wood.
You too, Kevin.
So what is the story with this little house?
Well, we had found a town record of a man who needed a home built for himself in 1657, and we thought to ourselves, let's build that one-room first period home as authentically as we could possibly do this.
Can we have a look inside?
Absolutely. It's a timber-framed home, and it's all 100% authentic. And over here, we've got ourselves a wooden chimney. The people of less wealth might have had a wooden chimney rather than a brick chimney.
Well, I wouldn't think a wooden chimney would last that long before it burned down.
Well, it takes some practice to not do that, but this is covered with clay, and clay would bake on with a fire just like you would have a clay pot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and it's water on top below to hold the clay in.
So you just pack this in sort of by hand on top of something?
It's an enormous amount of work, and it's all done by hand.
And it's wide open, so I guess in a rainstorm, you're going to get some rain down through this chimney.
Yeah, it would take maintenance every single year to keep up with it. Yep. The last thing I'd like to show you in the house is the root cellar.
Okay, what do you get down here?
Well, in the cellar, they would use that to keep their vegetables and dairy. It's cool in the summer, and it's warm in the winter.
Today's appliances are a marvel. We have gadgets that sit on the counter and fry with air. Even the mundane microwave has been replaced. All right, big stove, 2 ovens, and 8 burners right there. That's great. And microwave, everyone needs one of those.
No, this is actually a convection steam oven.
So is this in addition to or in lieu of a microwave?
It's in lieu of a microwave.
All right. For cooktops, it's hard to find a chef in 2020 who doesn't love induction. So, Will, tell us about induction. Just give us the basics sort of as how this thing is working, because it's kind of magic, right? I don't see a flame, and oftentimes I don't even feel the heat.
Yeah, so, I mean, induction in itself, starts off with magnets. I mean, that's kind of the base science of it. And when you're choosing your cookware to be able to go on top of it, you have to choose something where, a magnet will actually stick to it. So you get this pan right here, magnets not really doing anything. But you look at this guy right here, and boom.
So pots that are, say, like aluminum or copper, those aren't going to
They're not going to work. So you got to choose, the right pots. And nowadays this is a little bit more prevalent in home kitchens. So manufacturers of different pots and pans are actually making induction lines so that you can be ready for it. But the really kind of my favorite part of cooking on induction is the magnets. The way that they heat this water we can boil in less than 5 minutes.
Let's turn this thing on and
so
get it
let's
going
get
really
it
talk.
cranking. So this guy right here, we're going to do the crank all the way, and if we hold it, take it to the absolute top setting that we have right there.
So this is the indicator right here that one is on.
Yep.
Okay.
And so you can see already in the bottom of that pot, there's these little bubbles. Take you, 7 minutes just to get to that part of it.
So what's going on underneath that pot right there? What is actually being created that causes the heat?
So it's really basically the connectivity of the electricity and the magnets, which is going to kind of hyper boil and hyperheat the molecules in here. And actually what I think is the best part, and we're not at a full boil here yet, but you can actually slide this right off.
That's ridiculous.
With your hand. So you got kids at home, worried about somebody reaching up here, they want to get involved in the cooking. You can put your hand pretty much right on top of that.
I can feel some heat.
You can feel some residual heat that's coming from that, but nothing like, look at, it's on, but you can put your hand right on top.
Well, that is very cool.
So you put it right back on. You can see that change right up. Tells you that it's back on the highest setting and good to go.
And for the adventurous, bring a Japanese steakhouse into your kitchen with a teppanyaki grill.
This is actually a teppanyaki piece. It's 15 inches wide, and I know you guys are interested for your significant other to cook pancakes, you told me on this, which is great, but once you guys start using the teppanyaki, it's going to open up a whole new sort of a whole new world of cooking, from vegetables to fish, searing a steak, whatever it may be. And it's really sort of interactive as your family can gather around it, and you can quickly cook, shrimp appetizers and hand them to people. So it really gets the family involved around a simple little cooking appliance. And much like this piece, it's super easy to clean. Wet towel, wipe it down, put the cover on, and off you go.
And we're done.
These modern appliances evolved from the massive iron stoves that Americans started buying in the 1800s.
Look at that great old stove. Is that original?
It's terrific. It's not from 1853. You know how I know that? Because I'm a scholar of the subject.
Oh, and a remodel 25 years later? That is cool.
You can find their footprints in old houses.
And I imagine across the way they must have had a stove, right?
Yes, when we first saw the place, it was this great big, beautiful cast iron, wood-burning cook stove.
Yeah, I can see the marks of where it was and the wear here where somebody stood for many years.
Right, cooking and just wore away the
Look at
floor.
how they tacked it down. But this is early stuff. This is a beehive oven in there.
Right, they used it for baking. Big,
Really?
beautiful beehive inside.
Boston Iron Company, 1837. So we've
About
got-
the same time, another appliance started showing up in kitchens.
And what do we got here? Oh, my
Look at
goodness.
this. Here's our refrigerator.
Oh, look at this. So before modern refrigeration we take for granted, there was a day that this was the biggest deal you could ever have. In every local town, there was a whole industry. There was an iceman that would come and deliver ice. It was also a big industry locally. And so this was a very big deal. Look at here. A.J. Chase's Cold Blast refrigerator, Boston, New York. These people were living large.
2020 ushered in the year of the column for refrigerators. The freezer and fridge are separated.
And this, I want to show you, is a freezer column. So in your kitchen, I believe we should split up the refrigerator and freezer.
Okay.
Which is kind of what you mean by a column, right?
Exactly.
Not adjoining, separate.
They're completely separate units.
Look at all that space.
All that space.
Now this is the other column. This is the refrigerator. So you can see the refrigerator and freezer are separate.
They're separate. Okay, because I know we were thinking about doing the same thing in our kitchen.
Right.
Okay.
Also huge. I love it.
I love how big they look. Yeah.
We'll see if the divorce is final. Another cool feature popping up are refrigerator drawers.
And then over here, we've got handy refrigerator drawers. It will be perfect for Serafina to grab some snacks.
No stainless again hidden behind the wood.
Right behind the oak. And then here is...
As the 20th century dawned, kitchens were still primitive rooms used for bathing, sewing and cooking, cabinets were a luxury. It's a look that some people have tried to bring back.
Yeah, we love the look of the open shelves. And they're actually really functional. It's very easy to grab plates and dishes.
There were some early attempts to bring color into kitchens. Before linoleum, homeowners used something called a floor cloth. What are they exactly?
Well, it's a painted canvas rug, and they go back to before the 1800s, but in the early 1800s they were very popular. And then linoleum came along and sort of scratched them out. But we're working to bring them back.
Okay.
The finish that we put on top makes them extremely durable and easy to clean.
So linoleum comes along and maybe they fade away, but now they're coming back, or at least within your world coming back? Why do you think that is?
The customization is the key, that I can do all kinds of different designs, and the sky's the limit. It's literally a blank canvas.
Can we see how they're made and see how durable they are?
Absolutely.
Oh, the workshop.
So this is where we everything before it gets painted.
Okay. What is the raw material here?
Well, this is a heavyweight canvas, much, much heavier than artist grade canvas.
And the paint's going on right here. What is this that she's putting down?
It's an enamel exterior marine grade paint. It's what you put on boats.
Oh, wow.
And
all right.
It's the reason that works so well is it stays very flexible. So it won't crack when we roll these to ship them, and if they move around on the floor, that can cause them to crack if you don't use very flexible paint.
Then what do you do to it?
Then we cut it to size and we hem it we prime it and hem it, we sand it. And
Come on, you sand the canvas?
We sand it to just take that tooth off, and then we put a base coat on, and then we sand it again.
So this is a real craft. I mean, this is labor intensive.
It takes a lot of time.
Yes.
So once the floor cloth is all prepped, it comes over here, and I start laying out the design and start painting it. And for each piece, I have a printout that I've generated, and it's made to scale.
From that piece of paper, though, to this canvas, everything is by hand.
Exactly.
Today, floor coverings are anything from giant porcelain tiles to sustainable hardwoods. As kitchens became more specialized spaces, cabinets evolved. And up top, no upper cabinets, open shelving.
The open shelving always scares me because I love it in concept, but in reality, I just feel like it's a little impractical.
Yeah, it leaves you exposed, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Well, it's a trend now, but you can decide.
Now there's one more thing I want to show you.
Let's start with the oven cabinet. All right, now let's pick it up.
Often, they were custom built on site. They were only as good as the carpenter. And what a difference from what used to be here. That small space with the Formica countertops, the old pine cabinets, which were built by the old homeowner in place, but dated for sure.
I took over your space as a woodworking shop, right? And we took the opportunity not only to build your cabinets, but to do some teaching along the way. So I did 3 different segments and 3 different shows of making face frames, making doors, and making the actual box for the cabinets.
Does this look familiar?
It looks great.
Modern cabinets come from highly mechanized shops in all kinds of shapes and colors.
Perfect.
Here's a sample of cabinetry you're considering.
Oh, this is great. We get to see actual examples here. Now, there are basically 2 different styles of doors. Full overlay like this, which covers the entire box of the cabinet. And when it's closed, you don't see any of that, maybe a little bit of decorative molding. Over here, you have an inset door, which actually sits inside of the rails and stiles of the face frame. And they're a little more expensive because it takes more labor.
Like everything else in a kitchen, countertops have evolved. Just in the 40 years since we've been around, countertops have gone from garish Formica to stone made in a factory.
Lately, another option has surged in popularity: quartz countertops. And those are made in facilities, like this one here in Minnesota. Quartz is extremely hard, and that's why people like it for countertop surfaces. It basically won't scratch, and it's non-porous, which means it really won't stain. So it's easy to clean, and you don't have to seal it like granite.
For many people, traditional countertops are the only way to go. In Vermont, there's a
Southern Vermont, where Danby marble is extracted. This is actually the largest underground quarry in the world. Now, stones from this place have graced the Jefferson Memorial, the Supreme Court, and have been used for thousands upon thousands of kitchen countertops. Keith Millard is what they call the lead man around here, right?
Yes. He surrounded by marble here?
Yes, we are.
It's like a cathedral, amazing. And what is marble? We know it as countertops, but how's it made up?
It's a metamorphic rock that's created by limestone. That's created by pressure and heat, which creates the marble.
Okay, and that changes its form, and we get this. Just beauty. And how do you get this heavy stone out of here?
It starts with a special saw.
So look at this. So how did they get the marble out of the quarry in the old days?
They used to drill it, blast a tunnel through the mountain, and then come back and drill it with half rounds and wedges and break it.
Drill holes and then wedge it out?
Absolutely.
Well, this machine makes it look pretty easy.
This machine makes things very easy for us.
All right, take me through it.
This machine actually tunnels its way through the mountain, makes nice smooth cuts, which makes us a lot safer work environment.
Looks like a glorified chainsaw.
Yes, it is. That's all it is. All it is diamond segments that are evenly spaced, which actually just makes nice clean cuts through the mountain. Okay. Goes horizontally and then cuts vertically.
How long is this blade?
7 feet.
7 feet. So you can make 7-foot cuts this way, this way, this way.
Yes.
Great.
This is a similar saw that cuts vertical.
All right, now how long is that blade?
17 feet.
Wow, so that's going to leave a big chunk of marble here. And how do you make that final cut? With a wire saw?
Bottoms will be cut off with a wire saw.
Cool. That here?
Currently over here.
Look at how deep this thing is. Man.
Richard, this is the diamond wire that's used to make the final cut.
So where's the diamond?
These are the diamonds in between the springs.
Okay, great.
The wire's threaded in through those Bantini cuts.
So you get it all the way around the block and push it all the way to the bottom?
Yes.
Wow.
And then it's wrapped around the wheel. And it allows itself to cut itself together, as you can see.
So there must be some wicked tension on that thing.
Yes, there is.
Is it safe?
No, not really. Not down there.
Then I'm glad we're up here. So how much left? That was almost ready to go?
This cut will be done. You can see the wires are coming together.
Yeah.
It's going to break out into nothing, and then the block will be free from the mountain.
It's a beautiful, clean cut. Oh, look at that. All right, so this block right here is completely cut, right?
Yes.
And what do you imagine it weighs right now?
Roughly 150 tons.
150 tons.
Yes.
So how do you get it out of here?
Well, we're going to take this water bag cushion right here.
Water bag cushion, like a pillow?
Yes.
Okay. With water or air?
With water.
And the water will be enough to move that block?
To open it up.
I got to see this. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Pulling back. Woo! Those 150-ton blocks are too big to be moved around readily, so they get cut smaller to be brought here into smaller blocks to the processing plant. But they have to be cut yet again into even smaller bits. Luca Manolini, you are the general manager here. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Who is the artist that decides exactly how to cut these things just right?
It's me.
It's you. So tell me, when you look at these blocks like this, how do you know where to start?
I look imperfection in the stone, cracks, natural fracture.
So this says trim. Is this bad?
Yes, bad veining like this. That they carry imperfections.
That would make a bad countertop?
Yes, we can't use this, we can use that. Look how beautiful is this face.
So that is beautiful. So I noticed a little accent. Where are you from?
From Italy.
Italy. And where?
Carrara.
Carrara. They're pretty famous for marble, aren't they?
It is, yes.
Well, we are in good hands. So when this thing gets cut, how do we turn it into countertop?
We'll move it to our multi-blade gang saw.
Let's go. All right, so this is your gang saw here.
Yes, this is one of the two diamond blade gang saws.
Okay, so multiple blades at the top. And how many slabs can it cut?
Right now we are set to cut 40 slabs. We can do up to 50.
Wow.
With the other one, 18.
Okay. And how thick are the slabs going to be?
1 inch and a quarter.
Wow. How long will it take to get through?
The whole block, 10 hours.
10 hours. I might have to stay over. So here's some slabs just out of the gang saw, and I can see them all indexed by number here.
Yeah, but now this slab needs to be finished.
Okay.
Follow me.
look at that.
So this is no finish at all.
Now,
right?
this is a sewn finish.
Sewn finish, meaning it's just been cut.
Cut from the blades only.
So what's this machine gonna do?
Is put a finish on it.
Okay. How?
We have 17 different wheels.
Grinding wheels?
Grinding wheels.
Okay.
Each one has 9 bricks.
9 different shapes too.
Polish, honing, and brush.
Polished, honed, or brushed. And what are we running today?
Imperial honing slabs, imperial slabs.
Now honing's what everybody likes, right? So that's a hone finish, not really bright.
That's a hone.
And that's what everybody likes. And that's what actually our homeowner has ordered too, in that color. Whoa. Watch your fingers.
Go at an angle. Go at an angle. No.
Now watch the sink. Watch your fingers. Yeah.
Alright, don't let it touch that
Go on the
sink.
front, Louis. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't let it go down. Don't let it go down. Watch it. Watch it.
Hey, it fits.
Okay. Okay, that's fine here, Louis. Let's check the other end. How much you have there? Have inch and an eighth there. We need to go 116 over the side. Okay.
Alright.
We are perfect.
Kitchens will always reflect the age in which they were built. In 2020, pantries are in, but not with barn doors. Herringbone is popular. Subway tiles, not so much. And that whole open floor plan thing, well, we're rethinking that too. But one thing will not change. The kitchen will always be the heart of the house. A place where family and friends gather for a simple meal or to celebrate life's special moments. What's important is not the style of the kitchen, but the warmth it fosters in the people who use it. Next time on This Old House, most of the time we take you step by step through the building process at our job location. But these days, more and more of the pieces for our projects come to us from a factory. We're going to show you where those elements come from.
We have the ability to take your blueprints and do a custom design exactly as you like. We can build everything perfect to spec every time.